Okay, this is Monday, December 19th, 2016. It is 5 p.m. This is the year-end meeting of the village board, being held at 585 East Glenbrook Drive, Pulaski, Wisconsin. Could I have roll call and pledge?
Bruce Birchkowski.
Present.
Roger Birchkowski.
Present.
Robert Gajewski. Doug Prentice.
Present.
Chris Smith. Here. Robert Van Lannen.
Here.
And Reed Woodward.
Here.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Could I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
By Chris,
Second.
second by Bob Van Lannen. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 3, persons desiring to be heard. Persons desiring to be heard. Third time, persons desiring to be heard. Number 4, to consider and approve the Fourth Amendment to the ambulance service agreement between the town of Angelica, the town of Chase, the town of Leicester, the town of Maple Grove, the town of Pittsfield, and village of Pulaski, and the Gold Cross Ambulance Service Incorporated, effective 1/1/2017. And Bob?
Well, the only reason we have this, we have this every year, and the only reason that is because the dollar signs change in there, that's all.
There's nothing unusual or
No, it's just that you change the
Okay.
amount what they charge.
Have they ever done a comparison shopping like to, say, the county just to see? I wouldn't know if these numbers
I'm not
are,
going there.
well, I'm just curious if they ever
Have we?
did that.
What was that, Rick?
If you ever did a comparison like to what
The
county charges
The county would
compared,
take them under the program we got. They'd come in and run it on their own.
county would.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
They
so it's
do.
different what,
yeah. See, they wouldn't manage it like these guys do it. They would run the whole thing.
okay.
Oh, would that be to our advantage or not?
At the time it wasn't.
At the time, it wasn't.
Well, then we wouldn't get anything. We'd pay them whatever they wanted and that was it.
Okay. Do we have a contract with NEW? Is that renewable every year?
Every year, yeah.
Every
That's why
year.
you're
Every
voting
year.
on it.
Yeah.
And then if we'd want to address it, we'd address it at that time?
Right, you got, I don't know, 60 or 90 days or 6 months to
To
Get out
to
of it.
address it?
Yeah.
Okay. I read this over completely, and, I don't know if it would be an advantage for us to review it, but I would like to see one change with NEW, and that is that they don't have the ability to staff the second squad. And if they could hire more local individuals, EMTs, paramedics, if they're available, it's a shortage, the way I see it. We would have a better program, a better chance to staff that second squad. And what would materialize out of that? You just have a better service for the community.
Well, I think they did cost that out a couple of years ago.
Yeah, well, you can staff it if you want to pay for it.
Well, Bob, it depends how serious, I guess, you want to get it at having that second unit available. The first responder program that NEW had it went south. Some disputes, some disruption within, internally, and I don't see NEW pursuing this in any way. If they could encourage people to become first responders, and, well, it may cost us more for them to get a program going like that again, but what do we have for numbers as far as first responders?
We had 6 first responders.
6 first responders, and
I don't know how many EMTs, but there's
Yeah.
6 first responders.
And where are they located, you know?
3 in Angelica, 1 in Pittsfield, I think 1 in Pulaski, and 1 in Maple, or 2 in Maple Grove, something like that there.
And I know Lesser has their first responder
Yeah, Lesser has theirs with the fire
unit, and
department.
then Bondwell, I know, helps NEW out when it's
Mutual aid.
west of here,
Yeah.
which is good. But within the village, we don't have any.
Yeah.
And it would be just nice to have somebody to take that second truck out to a scene, not to transport, but first respond with that truck, and if they can get other people to,
They're trying to get people, but the training and the time.
yeah. Well, that was always a problem, regardless, I don't know, I don't care how many years you can go back, but, I guess I set
6
myself.
or 9 months for, just for a first responder now.
Yeah.
An hour a week or whatever they got.
I set a goal kinda to, I'll tell you this, when Reed Woodworth came as the village chief of police, he initiated the defib program where the police department had defibrillators in their cars. We had defibrillators in every township. And, okay, we were required then to have 2 people on call round the clock. If we didn't meet that, of course, our license would be taken away for having defibrillators. I know of one town that they were not meeting that requirement, but it was kept hush-hush, just so they, and it can't be helped sometimes, but I have to commend Reed for his ingenuity to pursue that, and it was awesome to have a police officer respond to the scene in the village, and of course, out of the village too, occasionally they did. And that was just awesome to have that person there giving us an update, knowing what's going on. So, you're right, Bob, as far as the requirements, and that is a turnoff for some people, but I think we always gotta be looking into it, so,
Well, they're looking to get people.
yeah. So therefore, I'm gonna say this, just that I'm gonna try and pursue this next year, where, I'll come to a meeting with you or whatever.
Well, anytime you get anybody to volunteer, it's a win.
That's correct.
But, the state mandates for the training have significantly changed over the last 10 years.
Well, they had that good guy at the school that owned a nutrition grade.
Yes.
But he sold out and he moved out, so that program dropped at the high school.
Yeah,
Roger, the only other thing I can suggest to you is before you take and put the cart in front of the horse, make sure that when you're licensed as a paramedic unit, that you can just fly that rig with first responders.
I didn't even want to go.
to do what, Mark?
I'm not sure what the operating standards are today, I'd have to look into it, but does that have to be a second unit, have to be a paramedic unit also?
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
Yeah. it's gotta be.
What is your licensure? Because you're operating under a licensure, okay? And I'm not sure what it is, and I'm not gonna speculate on that, but I just wanna make sure that if you're gonna explore that avenue, you find out what the state statutes are.
Okay.
And what parameters they have to work under, because if it has to be a second unit as a paramedic unit, that changes your whole first responder theory.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good point. Thank you. Well, with that said, if nobody has any more questions, I would like to make a motion to approve this amendment.
I'll second.
This is effective January 1st, 2017. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Part of your packet is a sign for the Pulaski North Business Park. We've been holding off on this. We finally, last year, got a permit to have a road in there, and now we're ready to start encouraging development of the North Business Park. And the first step is probably to get a decent sign up there so that people know that this is going to be Pulaski Business Park.
The only question I have, do we need a two-sided one out there?
Well, on the highway, the problem is if you face it to the road, we can do one-sided, but nobody will ever see the sign.
By the time they're up to it, they're gone.
Right. So if we put it this way and have one on each sign, they've got at least 500 feet of visibility. that's why we did bid it both ways, one-sided and two-sided. I think it's better suited for two-sided, because you can see it from both directions. But that's my opinion.
Just curious, why Madison? Is there anybody, Green Bay, there's a ton of sign companies. I'm
Well-
just curious why that was picked,
They're the ones that done all the park signs.
park signs in town here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know that, what's his name? Adams does signs. Kevin Adams?
Yeah, probably
I
not
don't know
to-
what he does.
Not to this extent, but the couple I deal with in Green Bay, but if you had a relationship with them, I can.
Well, you know, the ones from Green Bay, taking care of the signs in this building, they're pretty doggone expensive. And like you saw last month, we had a quote to redo this sign, and actually completely rebuild is what the intent is,
Mhm.
because there's too many things that don't work on
Right.
this sign. We're better off just having a
New
new
one
one. That
put in.
one was over 13,000?
Yeah, I think it was 25 for everything.
To redo this?
I got a question. What do you, I see you got on the agenda, the room tax money.
Stuff is.
Yes.
Would that be allowed to come out of that?
Yeah. I want to explain this. Since we started the room tax, when the hotel opened up in October of 15? Yeah, 15. The first year of operation, we took in about $25,000 in room tax revenues. Under the way our ordinance is structured, 30% of that 25,000 goes to the village for administration. And we've created a separate account where that 30% is going to sit there. And this would, be a good way of, we're advertising a business park. So it's kind of a correct way to spend the money, and we've segregated that, and we've thought about the sign for several years, but we didn't want to put it on the tax roll, if you will. And this, I think, is a kind of a effective way of using that room tax money for stuff that brings, improved signage, the park signs were part of the budget, but we always had money set aside for parks.
The reason I ask it, because we adopted a committee for room tax committee. Do we have to get the recommendation from them to come forward with this?
No, because this is the village's portion.
Yeah, not for 30%
And
of
actually, the village can use it for whatever they want.
Yeah.
Right, that portion
That
of it.
30% can be used for anything.
That's
I mean,
why
if
we
we
put
wanted-
it in a segregated account so it doesn't disappear.
I was thinking the same thing Bob was at first too, but I've read that 30% village can use for whatever they
Yeah.
need it to be.
This doesn't have to go through that Green Bay that we signed with
No,
Green Bay and
nope.
that?
But I would like to ask one thing about that, and is there any reason why we couldn't use at least for some of that money for this as well? Because isn't it tourism and economic development?
Yes.
And if this isn't economic development, I don't know what is.
Yeah,
That's right.
So we could, I would almost suggest, well, maybe we should take it out of not our 30%, maybe we should take at least some of it out of the
Room tax?
room tax that's remaining after they take out the agreement that they signed. But, so they have more
That-
money there too, and this does strike me as economic development.
This, that's a built answer.
Okay.
This one, we know that it's 30%
Sure.
set aside, and
Yeah.
the village can do whatever they want with it.
The portion that the tax commission spends, from what I understand of it, is more towards tourism. They want people to come to town, spend money at the hotel and around the village, not necessarily, from how I read it, as economic development.
Well, I guess one thing I'd say about that is, you know, if you have businessmen here and if you have companies moving in, I mean, they will have clients or, I mean, will probably use the
Right.
hotel
Well, definitely, and it's a
as
pretty,
well.
it's a pretty
And
vague,
maybe more than what you hope to get for tourism.
it's a
but,
pretty big description what the
yeah.
state gives us, so, yeah,
Mhm.
Bill would definitely have, I think, the say on that.
This,
I have a
this I
question.
know is correct.
The 30% part of it, yeah.
But
Right.
I'm not so sure that,
What kind of money do we have in those two accounts? I don't remember. Does anybody know?
25,000?
well, Jody,
I know we
6.3.
budgeted, I think it was 32 or 35, I don't know exactly, for this coming year, for 2017. And I think Reed's right, I know we looked at it, but I wasn't in, I didn't come until 4 today, but I know we looked at it last week,
Right.
and we talked about that,
yeah, and I thought we were near 8,300.
yeah, I think so.
So there's plenty of money, you're saying, to pay
Right.
for this.
Right.
That's,
You're thinking an
Oh, I
8-footer?
see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
8 foot.
Okay.
You know, the difference between 2 foot and it's quite a significant
Almost
jump in
double.
price.
Yeah.
So what are we trying to do tonight? Are we trying to approve this
Trying to
tonight?
approve this.
Okay.
I would recommend that we do 2-sided 8-foot. $5,824 plus the hardware set and project delivery.
And if we agreed on this tonight, when would it go up? Or how long does it take?
It would
That's what
probably
I'm trying to read.
it took them like 45 days the last time we ordered a park sign.
Okay. Will they be able to put it up in the winter?
Public Works sign installation by Village of Pulaski.
Right.
The village put it up.
We just use the jetter to do the holes.
Okay, Joel, I guess that's you.
Take a little work, but
Yeah. Okay.
And if we prove it, the first thing we've got to do is go to the state for permission to put a sign up.
Well, okay.
Which is
More
gonna take
steps.
time again.
Yeah. It will.
Okay.
Is there a permit for that, Reed?
I'm sure there is first.
Yes, for
That's the
anything
highway,
that's
right?
on the highway.
Yeah. There isn't, I have no clue what it is. I think it's probably according to the size of the sign.
I can help you with that, but
Maybe find that out first, so we put
well,
the
there's a
right.
permit for it.
Yeah, I know, but as far as size-wise, are there limitations of what
Yeah.
you can put up and?
Probably the best thing I can do is take this sketch, include it on a permit
Yeah.
application, and get an answer from it. And you might want to do that before you order the sign.
And I know it has to
Yeah.
be 50 foot from the center line.
Everything is supposed to be, yeah.
Doesn't give a delivery date.
They won't give a delivery date until the sign is actually ordered.
You don't foresee any problems, Paul, with a permit, do you? I mean, there shouldn't be any problem. If you ordered a sign, then we can't put it up, but,
You probably have them
no
checked
clue if
first,
there'd
I
be a
would.
problem or not. I have no clue if there's a big problem or not. They may ask you to put it back in the village right away, off the road further. I don't know.
Well, is that any different than where the other sign is sitting right now?
No, that probably was put up without a permit of any kind.
It's still there. I'm not saying we shouldn't, but gee.
I'm serious. That probably was done without any permit of whatsoever.
Casey's sign?
the,
Chamber of Commerce sign.
Oh, looking for
there's that one, and then there's also the
Good spot for
lots
it.
for sale
Oh,
one.
I lost my spot.
That's a temporary sign.
Temporary.
Temporary.
Because we got it on wooden sticks.
Yeah, but it's not permanently in.
So okay, so we have two issues here. Whether we get the permit.
No, we'll get a permit.
Yeah.
You have to
Okay, then
jump
I'm-
through whatever hoops they tell you to.
Okay, then I'm gonna make a motion that we order the 8-foot sign, 2-sided or double-sided,
Instead of start the printing process.
and
So
start
we
the
make it
process.
contingent that have him check the state, make sure,
You just said we didn't, well, obviously you gotta check that, but
Well,
We're
what
still
was
putting
your-
a sign up, right?
What was your thought on that when you said you would wait? Maybe we should wait.
Actually, you can order the sign because you can put it in your own right of way, if nothing else. But I mean, I think they'll permit it. Problem is, right now, it's December or whatever, we're at 19th, 20th. Chances of me finding the DOT permitting guy working the rest of the year is slim.
State guy.
Yeah.
We had a vacation built up,
It's
didn't
gonna
we?
be January before I get any kind of, even a preliminary answer, but
That's okay, we can at least vote on it and get it going.
I'll second
So-
that motion, Reed.
Will we need a stake or will they just stick from the
8-foot
town of
sign.
Angelica?
no, it's
Village.
You want any contingencies in it at all?
No.
No? Okay.
We have a motion and a second to proceed with ordering an 8-foot, two-sided sign. And it would be taken out of the room tax account, the villages portion. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 6, I just put this on here, I don't expect anything to be voted on tonight. We got a letter from the Tri-County Fire Department. They had been talking for well over a year about ordering a new fire replacement engine. I heard numbers thrown around for at least 18 months. And sometime in April, they said that, we probably should increase everybody's vehicle replacement, raise it by at least $3,000 a year, or a month. They said year or a month, and just everything gets caught up. The bottom line is we got a letter, they voted to order the fire truck. The total cost could be $550,000. They made they ordered it, but then they realized that the board of directors never voted on it.
Oh, so they did order it already?
Yeah, so then we had to have a emergency meeting
On last Wednesday, December 14th.
December 14th, and prior to that, this letter went out when they realized that the board of directors had never voted on the fire truck. So now all the facts are together, and each municipality's share is $84,546 to be paid in 2 installments.
April and October 2017.
The total initial cost to each municipality is going to be $99,546.
And they're giving a discount of 15,000.
Yeah.
So it comes to 84,546 for the
So,
year.
you've got all of these figures. We've got to figure out in the next month or two, figure out how we're going to pay our share, or the village's share. All I can say is many times in the past, I've watched them take money out of this pocket and put it in this pocket, and never any real money came in. What was set aside for a fire truck, about half of it got robbed every year. So in the next committee of the whole, we'll be talking about this in depth and trying to figure out how we'll take care of the village's share.
I'll make a motion to table this discussion.
Okay?
Committee of the whole meeting.
Second by Roger. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 7, consider to approve operator bartender license applications ending in 6/30 of
We
2018.
just have one for the Cobblestone. Chief Mark did not get to see this yet, so contingent upon.
We have Courtney M. Moore for the Cobblestone and has not completed her, she has. She crossed out, no, but it's attached, so she has a beverage server. This would be contingent on approval of the chief.
I'll make that motion.
By Doug.
Second. Oh, sorry, Bob.
Go ahead.
Bruce.
Yep.
Second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Such other matters as authorized by law. Such other matters as authorized by law. Next, third time. Such other matters as authorized. Number 9, department reports, Public Works.
All I have is encourage your neighbors to shovel their sidewalks if you see them. We did go through today, we do have a list of people that need to take care of theirs. That's all I have.
And also encourage your people not to plow.
Not to plow their driveways across the road, because then you just leave a trail in the road. And I talked to Mark about that today.
Sewer and water.
Next month, probably I'll start bringing things to the committee meeting. 3 major items that we're looking at from the utilities this year will be the EPA sampling. It's one of our bigger years because it includes the lead and copper. And the procedures for doing that lead and copper are getting more strict of where the samples are taken, when they are taken. And the spinoff from Flint is starting to snowball.
Right.
That's coming. When the guys did the work on the vents on the tower, I also had them wing us a ballpark bid to power wash the tower next year. And the last time we did that was 7, 8, 9 years ago, something like that in that area. And it cost us between $11,000 and $12,000 to do that. They were throwing a ballpark number at me of about $6,500. And I think the reason they were so much cheaper is they have the equipment to do it and the rigging and stuff, where the last guys that did it came in cheap, but then they had to go out and rent a big boom crane for a couple of days, and that's where the cost came in.
Okay, awesome.
And the third thing that I have to bring to the table, I'm awaiting for a quote on, this is the 10th year, and every 10 years we pull the well and go through them, and well number 1 needs it this year, and I'm gonna guesstimate probably $18,000 to $20,000. And those were things that we discussed when we did our rate case evaluation. These things come up, so much is supposed to be, in that maintenance. The same thing with the tower painting. That money will probably come out of the painting fund or whatever. But CTW is the ones that, they do all our well work. They have done it for years, and they've always been the most reasonable to us.